Hi everyone and welcome back to a new episode of BWD. Today we're gonna finally get done the channel analytics project for the MrBeast YouTube channel. In episode 4 we scrape all the necessary data and today we're gonna create the analytics. If you're new to this channel or you're back watching this video, do not forget you can find timestamps in the video description below. And all the code that you're gonna see in this episode is available on GitHub, link in the video description below. And now, without further ado, let's get started. Before starting with the analytics, let's briefly recap the architecture of this project, to make sure we are on the same page. In the previous episode, we have coded the download.py script, which scrapes the data by sending requests to the YouTube website. Then, all the data are saved into a CSV file on our local machine, which are later used as the input for the analytics.py file. The final step is to display the analytics on a dashboard, and an easy and fast way to do this is to use the Jupyter notebooks. So let's start by seeing how to install the Jupyter notebooks. First, let's open a terminal window from the root of our project. Then all we gotta do is to simply type pip install Jupyter notebook. And here we go, Python will install it for us. Jupyter notebooks are not only great for visualizing analytics, but also for prototyping and exploring data. To spin a Jupyter notebook, just type at the command line Jupyter notebook, and a new window will automatically open on your default browser. What you see on the screen is the content of the directory where I launched the command. And as you can see, there is the download.py file. If we click on it, we can see the code we wrote in the previous episode. Then there is the data folder, and within it the CSV file. Alright, now it's time to open a new notebook and start looking at the data. To do it, let's click on the button New, here on the right, and then click down on Python 3. As you can see, a new window opens, and this is our very first notebook. So the first step when working with notebooks is to name them. In fact, they are named untitled by default, which does not help us to understand what's inside the notebook. This might not seem a big deal, but instead it is. That's because when you do analytics, you quickly end up working with multiple notebooks, and if you do not name them, the sooner than you think, you will have a folder full of them, all called untitled 1, 2, 3 and so on. And this makes really hard to not only for you but also for others to understand what's inside each one. Great! So let's call our notebook dashboard, because here is where we're gonna display all the analytics. Then let's have a look at the data. To do it, let's import the pandas library. Here I'm gonna assume that you know the basic of pandas, so I won't comment too much every command. But if you do not have any previous experience with it, there are many tutorials here on YouTube, and if you want me to make one about it, let me know in the comment section below. First step when you read a CSV file with pandas is to declare where the file is. Let's define the path variable and type in the relative path. Then let's pass this to the read CSV function and save the output in a variable called df. df stands for data frame. That's how you call a table in the pandas jargon. Finally, let's display the very first 5 rows by calling the head method over the df variable. Now to execute this code, you can either click on the run button in the header or simply press Shift and Enter at the same time on your keyboard. And here we go, these are the data we scraped in the previous episode. Great, now it's time to parse our data a little bit, to then start coding some analytics. So let's start by importing the date class from the datetime module and parse the published date column. In fact, the values found here look like dates, but in reality they are strings. To do so, let's apply to each value in each row the fromIsoFormat method, which returns an instance of the date class from a string respecting the ISO syntax. Great, then let's create a column with the year and another one with the month. And again, this can be easily done by iterating over each row and then call the .year and the .month attributes. As you can see, if we run the code again, the year and the month columns are displayed now. Great, so as you might have guessed by now, Jupyter notebooks are really great for displaying data, because they let write code and see the output right below. The space where we have written our code is called cell, and as you can see down here, every time we execute a cell, right below a new empty one is created for us. Alright, let's start by creating our very first insight. Let's go with the total number of videos published per month. This can be easily done by grouping our data over year and month, and then count how many rows are found for each tuple. In Pandas, to do so, you have to type .size right after the group by. Then, let's just call the variable to check its content. As you can see, we do not get the nice formatted output we got before, so to fix this, we have to call the resetIndex method. And here we go, way better now. Now, if we take a closer look to the column names, we can see that there is year, then month, and then a column called 0. And the values found here are the numbers of videos for each tuple year or month. But like this, it's not very clear. So to fix this, we're gonna call the rename method, which let us rename any column, and we're gonna call it total. Great, way better now, right? So if we start to look at the data, we can see that for February 2012, MrBeast published one single video. On March of the same year, another one. But then, in January 2013, 11 videos. So this is already an interesting insight. However, it's not really easy to look at it. In fact, there are more than 100 rows in total. And not all of them are displayed. A better way to visualize this is to have for each row the year, and in each column the month. So to do this, we have to call the pivot method, which let us rearrange the data in this way. And as you can see, this is way easier to check. However, there are a couple of things that we have to fix. First, you can easily see those none values. What are they? The pivot method, when does not find a value for a tuple month year, just fill it with none. For example, we can see that in 2012 January, MrBeast did not publish any video at all, but he did in the next year. So what we would like to have here is not none, but rather 0. Luckily, fixing this is very easy. We have just to call the fillNone method and pass 0 to it. What happens then is that all the none values found in the data frame are replaced with 0. Great. The next thing to fix is that the numbers are not displayed like integers, but this does not make any sense, right? Because the total number of videos published in a month cannot be a decimal number like here in March 2017. 7.0 video does not make any sense. Instead, we should read 7. So to clean this up, we have to change the data type for all the values in each row. That's why we're gonna cycle over all the columns and then apply the sType method over each one. If we then run the code, we can clearly read the data way better now. Great, so we got our very first insight. So as you can see, notebooks are great for working with data. However, if we go ahead and try to build new graphs and tables, the number of cells skyrockets, and it quickly just becomes a mess. A better way of doing this is to wrap the code into a class in a Python module, and then import it in this notebook. And that's exactly what I've done here. I've created a new module called analytics.py, and within it, here it is the analytics class. In the read method here, there is all the code that we just wrote before for reading and parsing the data. And right below, there is another method called getVideosPerMonth. So the idea here is that any table or graph we want to create is going to be obtained by calling a method called getSomething. And that's exactly what I've done here. So if we check the analytics module, we can see 6 methods in total. And all the code here counts for roughly 214 lines. So I hope that you can understand that this way is way more efficient and cleaner than having all this code spread in your notebook. Great, so now let's see this class in action. Back to the dashboard notebook, let's first import the analytics class, create an instance and then call the read method. Now in each separate cell, we're gonna call a get method. For example, if we wanna know how many videos were published per year, all we gotta do is to call the getVideosPerYear method. And just like that, we got a nice graph showing what we asked for. We can see that 2015 was the year with the highest number of videos published, and then from 2018, the number of videos has been steadily decreasing. Now, if we are interested in going more into details, we can call the getVideosPerMonth method. And here we go, we get what we asked for. However, this table could be easier to read. We can do this by passing heatmap equal to true to color each value. Great, but how about the number of views? Well, let's call the getViewsFromMonth method. But what are these numbers exactly? Well, for example, we can read 63 for January 2016. And this means that all the videos published in January 2016 have generated a total of 63 millions of views as of today. So now we can clearly see that the most popular videos are from 2019. And that's probably because when COVID hit in March 2020, many people were stuck at home and discovered MrBeast and then started watching older videos. And the most recent one were of course from 2019. Now this visualization is nice, but maybe we are interested in a specific time window. That's why you can also pass the from argument to set a start date, just like this. And this can also be done the other way around, by passing the to argument. Finally, we can see that there are many zeros here, but why is that? A first answer could be that MrBeast did not publish any video, which is true in some cases, but the real reason is that when we call this method, we generate the result counting millions of views. So if instead we pass the argument weight equal to 3, meaning that we count in thousands of views, we can see now that many zeros simply disappear. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that when you code these methods, they should be thought to be flexible. That's because you might want to see the results under different conditions or for whatever reason. So to make this flexibility real, think also to add optional inputs that might be passed when calling the method. Now let's see some more methods. Another interesting insight is to check the average number of views, meaning that the total number of views generated by all the videos from month X and year Y are divided by the number of videos published in month X and year Y. As you can see, if we call the getAverageViewFromMonth method, the heat map now is different, and November 2021 is the month with the highest number of views, and this is identical to the previous result, whereas all the numbers from 2020 have decreased. And this entails that in 2020 multiple videos were published every month, whereas in November 2021 only one video was published, and it was pretty popular. In fact, if we check MrBeast channel, we will discover that in November 2021 MrBeast published the Squid Game video, which went pretty viral. Alright, another interesting statistics that we can check is the video length measured in minutes. To do so, we can call the getTotalMinutesPerMonth method and the getAverageMinutesPerMonth method. So I think this is pretty much about it. These are simple analytics that came to my mind, but of course you could build also other. For example, stuff like top X most popular videos. So give it a try and let me know. Alright, we have finally come to the end of this episode. If you have any question or doubt, just write it down in the comment section below. Do not forget to subscribe and give it a like. And with that said, see you in the next one. Ciao!